Okay, pag-usapan natin ng immigration, lalo ng mga immigration ng mga Pinoy sa ibang bansa. And for this particular program, we'll talk about the United States, Australia, and Canada. And guesting us with us here this evening, our attorney Michael Garfinkel, U.S. immigration lawyer. We have Mark Francis Riley, he's an Australian immigration lawyer, and April Cruz, who's a Canadian immigration specialist. What about the Filipinos trying to immigrate to Australia? What are the general paths towards immigration?
Michael talked about there being two pathways to the US, employer and family, and that's equally true for Australia. In a sense, there are two others really. There's also a business entry system and a general skill category. So, again, if you're a family member, you're being sponsored by your spouse or your fiancé, if you're a parent, in some circumstances, if you're a dependent child, that's an obvious pathway. A employer direct sponsored category is that you might be a particularly skilled person in a field where there's a shortage of that skill in Australia. And a good example of that is the computer industry, information technology. Absolutely. Information technology specialists are very high demand. So are nurses that they
Nurses are still able to get into Australia?
They can, but it's not an even pathway. It is possible. But nurses could also qualify as the computer specialists under the more general skill category, which is in fact the largest of the categories. And it's the most obvious pathway for most people.
Right.
You've identified that you have certain skills. We'll look at those skills, and there is in fact a general list of occupations. There's hundreds of them on here, but they tend to reflect every occupation that would require a degree or on a trade, and you should enter that occupation.
Do you need a college degree, or if you're a high school graduate, do you need enough?
High school graduates are finding it extremely difficult unless you're a very skilled person in a trade, such as a carpenter, or a stonemason, or a refrigeration mechanic. Even then, you would have to describe in great detail exactly how you develop those skills. In fact, in trades, you often find it quite difficult to qualify. And then it's point system. And point system works on looks at skills like your age, your language ability. So if you're 45 years old, you actually can't pass it.
So you have an age limit of 44?
44 years. But the younger you are, the more points you get.
Is there such an age limit in the United States?
No.
No point system. All right, but this one,
the age limit is 65 retirement age.
Okay. Let me ask April first here. April, the word is in Manila that it is relatively easier to get an immigrant visa through Canada. Is that true generally?
Yes, because Canada has opened its doors for immigration right now. As a matter of fact, this year 2000, they're opening like 225,000 visas for immigrants all over the world.
So, what is the general process by which you get, what are the pathways to immigration?
Well, the first thing is your occupation should be in the general occupations list. So that's the very first, because if you're not in the general occupations list, you're not eligible to immigrate to Canada.
So what sort of occupations are those?
Oh, there are a lot of occupations, thousands of occupations, but these are occupations that would make you at least transfer your skills to Canada and contribute to the economic development and social fabric of Canada. And secondly would be, well, if you have a relative that would help, that would give you additional points for that. And another thing is you have to meet, we're just like Mark, we're on a point system.
Right.
So that means to say the selection criteria has 10 factors, and you've got to qualify by meeting 70 points. That's the magic number.
So